Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be covering seven tips that can help you sell more aged final expense leads. Tip number one is make sure to triple dial. So that means you want to call people 3 times in a row. I got this tendency and this strategy from when I door knocked final expense leads. So when I started, it was in 2019, 2020 before COVID. And I was going around knocking on people's doors. If I knocked in the morning and they weren't there, I would go again in the afternoon, and then I would go again at night. So I was essentially knocking 3 times to see if they were home. When you're calling aged final expense leads, not only do you want to call 3 times in a row, but you want to try to call a few times during the day as well, because they may not be in a position to answer the phone at that time of the day. Remember, if we get someone on the phone and they want to buy, we're lucky, because we have to get them in the perfect scenario. They're at home, they got their checkbook, they got everything that they need to make the sale. So me knocking on those doors many times throughout the day helped me get a lot more sales, and I carried that strategy into telesales to make sure that I called people 3 times in a row, because people don't answer random numbers on the first dial, maybe not the second. Much higher chance they'll answer the third call 3 times in a row, and then stagger the calls throughout the day. Remember, it doesn't matter how many people you call, it matters how many people answer. Number 2, make sure to be enthusiastic and open about the pushback that the prospect gives you. Okay, so understand that when you call people that are aged leads, they're probably going to tell you something like, I'm not interested, I already took care of it, I'm busy, I don't have time, I don't remember, something like that. When they give you that pushback, you want to welcome it enthusiastically. Hey, awesome. To completely understand, I'd be surprised if you remembered. I've had a crazy response in your area. It's taken me so long to get back to everybody. And then you want to get right back to your script, okay? So quick little responses and comebacks, and then get right back to your script. I actually have all of these on my rebuttals page. Closes or how to handle objections in the greeting and the close. It's only $39 for access. Click the link in the description of the video. These are like cheat codes for getting through those objections in the greeting. I have this happen to me all the time, where I will tell someone no, or I give them a little bit of pushback, and if they just were able to get on common ground with me and move past it, then I would take the time to listen to their presentation. I also teach all these things to my new agents and the agents who work with me at my agency. If you be interested in working with us, we provide 100% of all of our leads, 100% of our leads for free at absolutely no cost to the agent. We jump on our agents' calls and help them close their sales, and they don't have to split commission. And we have full training and structure and everything else. It's a great program. If you're interested in working with me, just email me at the email in the description of the video. So number 3, follow up with people who answer but then can't talk during the day. So if they answer but they say they're busy and you can't push past that, it's totally okay. Set an appointment for later on in the day, and if they don't answer, send them a text message. There's a company that's been calling me almost every single day for the last 3 years to sell me on some personal development programs that they have. They do not call me in the middle of the day. Why? Because if they call me, they triple dial me. If they triple dial me in the middle of the day and I answer, I'm going to be irritated and I'm not going to want to talk to them. They call me at night around 8 or 9 p.m. because they know that I'm really busy during the day, and that's when I go to bed. Or when I go to bed, I'm more likely to answer the call like right before that bedtime. Also, I talk to a couple of my business partners really early in the morning. During the day, we're so busy. So our communication timeframes are super early and super late at night. So if you get those people that are busy during the day, ask them, hey, would you prefer I call you later on tonight? Or like, are you an early morning person? Next, number 4, you want to ask them questions to rediscover the need. Their emotions may have simmered down a little bit. So they did fill out this form. They did want the insurance at one point, and they felt some sort of emotional need towards it. But a lot of time has passed, right? There might be layers of life over that need. So you have that emotional need, and then maybe, all the other stuff throughout the week or the months or the years has just laid layers of like dead leaves on top of it, right? So there's that gold nugget in there. It's just been covered up by the seasons. And you're going to have to ask tough questions to help them open up about the need and discover why they want the insurance. So questions like, hey, what caused you to start looking into this? I know that you're not interested now, or I know you took care of it, whatever their objection is, or If they don't give you an objection, hey, just curious, what caused you to start looking into this before? They could say, oh, well, I guess I'm just getting a little older. Okay, well, what about getting a little older has you curious about this type of program? So you want them essentially to tell you the emotional pain point that they're trying to solve with this program and that they wanted to solve with the program. It's harder to close age leads on logic than emotion. So you want to really build up those emotions, and then you can put the logic in on top of it. So I've had this happen so many times to me, right? Where I have, even if I've purchased things and the need has kind of simmered down, and then I think of something or something happens where I have to re-engage back into it. Like the courses I have bought to build my YouTube channel, right? I'll buy them, I'll be super enthusiastic, and then life gets in the way, but that need is still there. And then something will happen where it's like, oh, wow, yeah, let me go back to that. Maybe I'll have to repay for it or start opening up, and it takes time for me to go through and learn it again. So that need is still there. It just needs to be uncovered. Tip number 5 is do policy reviews. So a policy review is when you call if they have existing coverage, right? So if they already have insurance, call their existing life insurance company and get some details with them on the phone about the plan. How much coverage do they have? What's their premium? What type of policy is it? What riders do they have? Is there any cash value? When does the policy expire? Does it pay out in natural cause death? So these are all types of questions you want to ask. And policy reviews are really good. One, the other company might say something that turns the client off, and they may want to switch and go with you just because they don't like that company. Number 2, you may find out that the client's underinsured. So that maybe they think they have everything they need, but maybe asking some questions about their policy makes them realize that they don't have what they thought that they had. So maybe they think they have a $10,000 policy, but it's really $5,000 of life insurance with $5,000 accidental. They don't understand that, hey, they actually don't have a $10,000 life insurance policy, right? Or people could have more than they think. I've had people who thought they had $10,000. We call and they have $20,000. And it's a good thing I didn't replace that policy because that would have been unethical. So you want to call and do policy reviews. I encourage you guys to do policy review every single time. I have friends that sell face-to-face that will not run a appointment if the prospect does not have their existing policy information right there. We've had it happen so many times where we don't think there's a sale, we call and do a policy review, and there ends up being a sale. Tip number 6, get referrals from everyone that you close or don't close. So every age lead could be an opportunity to get 5 new leads in the form of referrals. We have a program here where we can give our prospects $5,000 of accidental death coverage for free, $1,000 for each name and number that they give us. But maybe you could send them a $5 gift card or something for every referral they give you, but you don't even have to really pay them for it. Don't ask for referrals, though. Here's my tip for referrals. Don't ask for referrals. At the end of the call, say, hey, look, I know this coverage is important to a lot of people right now, whether they bought or not. If they didn't buy, say, hey, right now I know this wasn't in the cards for you. This isn't something that was super important to you. But there are plenty of people who this is important to. I'd like you to introduce me to 5 people who I could get the same information to, and I'm going to provide it exactly as I did to you, no pressure, nothing like that. Who's the first person that you can think of that you could introduce me to so I can go over this with them? So our script's a little different. Like that, I just came up with that off the top of my head. It might be bad, it might be good, but try to go for referrals, please. The reason why our script is different is because we can give them $5,000 in accidental death at no cost. So I say, hey, look, I know this didn't work out for you, or the best ones for this are the ones who can't afford it. Or I'm like, hey, no problem. I understand that this isn't in the cards for you right now financially, but we have a program just for people like you where I can get you $5,000 of accidental death coverage at absolutely no cost. What do you think about that? They say it. Then you're like, oh, that's so cool. Yep, it doesn't cost you any money. All I need is for you to introduce me to 5 people who I can get this information to. Who's the first person you can think of? And they usually just start rattling them off. So remember, though, don't ask for referrals. Don't say, oh, can you give me any referrals, or who can you refer me to? Who can you refer to me? Say, I would like, who can you introduce me to? People will be much more likely to make introductions than give referrals. And tip number 7, stagger your calling times. Okay, I covered this before in the triple dial, but if you switch it up, call a bunch of people in the morning and then call a bunch of people in the afternoon, call a bunch of people at night. Like I said, everyone's availability will differ. And make sure you take notes when calling the leads, like, hey, this person happens to answer in the evening. This person happens to answer in the morning. That way you'll see a pattern and you'll know that you'll know when you can get in touch with the person. So I hope that helped you guys. That's 7 tips to help you make more sales off your aged final expense leads. If you have any questions, email me at the description in the video. And you don't want to miss this next video coming up where you can listen to actual aged final expense lead sales calls.